As West Ham United sailed through to the last 16 of the Europa Conference League last night, we'll be talking a little bit about that, a little bit as we look ahead towards Manchester United, the dreaded Old Trafford trip on Sunday, as well as overall, can Moyes break this Big Six curse? Is it more psychological or is it more what he does on that pitch? We're talking about all of that and more in today's show. Firstly, let's introduce our guests. Well, not really guests, but firstly, Phil, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you, Jake. Still buzzing. We got through to the round of 16 last night. It's always good.
Yeah, it was good. We'll talk about that in just a second. And also, Mike, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Very good. Thanks very much.
Good stuff. So let's crack on with the game last night. Then it wasn't pretty at all, and a couple of good performances to come out of it. We'll talk about a Gerd in a little while, but just overall with the game, Phil, you were there. What did you make of it?
Yes, I think it's going to be a very sort of forgettable game, really. To be honest with you, weren't the greatest of games, but it was another case of just getting the job done. Really, they never really impose a threat that much, apart from making Ariola come into a couple of good saves. But other than that, they were nothing special. I was expecting a few goals in it, but there weren't. We was lucky to get a penalty, which was lucky to get a conversion out of that. And then it was pretty much plain sailing, but not a world class performance. But we've sort of been used to that this season.
Yeah. It wasn't at all pretty. Probably a little bit fortunate to get the penalty because I don't think it was a penalty at all, to be honest, Mike. But I mean, we'll take it, won't we? We only need the point. We got all three, and we're the only English team left in the European competition with a 100% record.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a struggle in the part, really, wasn't it? I mean, they didn't really threaten us hardly at all, did they? They cut the shots from the edge of the area. Ariel had to make 2 saves in the whole game. And really, we just weren't clinical enough. We created enough chances. Probably should have scored 3 or 4 from the opportunities we had. But hey, at the end of the day, we changed, 9 or 10 players. Orgard gets through a pretty decent game. And like I say, Jake, we got 15 points and, we're through. The next game we can play a complete youth team if we like.
Yeah.
So, there's pluses in it. It wasn't pretty and it wasn't a great game to watch, I know. But, I think they just came to pass the ball around the back and, I think they were a bit of damage and imitation, really, they were. And try and catch us with a goal on the break. But, job done, really. That's all we can say, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it,
I'm just picking up what Mike said there, Phil, was just we got the job done. Overall, we didn't particularly need all 3 points, and we should have probably put a couple more past them, as Mike said. We almost played into their damage limitations sort of plan that they might have had because we didn't really particularly look like scoring too many more, and it was just almost set up shop, and then that was it when we got the goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think games like that, you want to get convert your chances easily, but we do find that pretty hard in any game that we played lately. So, but the good thing about last night is, like where I said, we've already qualified, so it's not that much pressure around for them to go out and do a fantastic job. So no one would be on their backs too much because it's not like a total nothing game, but it was sort of like a half nothing game because we've already qualified. So there's more riding on it for Silkeborg than there was for us. But I think even in games like that, you still got to take your chances and show what you can do. So even if you're playing in second gear, you've got enough individual quality to be finishing certain chances. But it was a good run around for a few players anyway. That's the main thing.
Yeah. And the big question was, Phil, was your lunch better than the game?
I'll tell you what, Thunderbird, it's very nice. I know we're not sponsored by them, but if you ever go to one, it's very nice. Lovely.
If you're in Stratford and you want a bit of chicken, honestly, we had rats, but you should have seen the big burger Phil had. It was crazy.
Delicious. Freshly done brioche bun, lightly toasted, fresh gherkins, which, Jake, you didn't have.
As you can see,
nice.
Phil loved it. It was very good.
Yeah, I love chicken burgers, especially when it's done right.
Especially when it's done right. But anyway, back to the football. Agerd, Mike. I think there was a lot of fans that were excited to see Agerd obviously injured. It was almost like when Paqueta came in, it was like, new signing again. We haven't seen him play at all, really, apart from a couple of pre-season games. And from what I've gathered from it, a lot of people very, 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 very happy with his performance. Bit of pace, looked composed at the back, and I thought he gives Moyes some problems now. We've paid all the money for him, and he looks like the business, to be honest.
I think he's obviously nowhere near fitness yet, but what he showed, and that was an ideal game for him. Let's face it, it was a struggle in the part. Like I said, ideal game for him to get. What was it, 74, 75 minutes he played, which is just perfect. Just to run around, get a feel of the ball. A couple of times he had to sort of turn the burner on and run back in and take control, and he did it well, and he looks good on the ball. He can play a pass. He definitely, I think, tried to move the ball out of the back a bit quicker, which I think we've been struggling with. I think that Zuma doesn't move the ball quick enough. It's the only, he's a great defender, but he takes too long. His first touch, he doesn't put the ball in the right place to knock it. You can get away with one of your centre backs doing that, but not two. I mean, he looked like he wanted to move the ball, and you could see him getting it out to Johnson. And Johnson had a good game last night, and maybe that's because Auger was talking to him. You know what I mean? Telling him, "Come on, get under, move it, get it under, move it, get it under, move it," and that's what they were trying to do. So that was a plus for me. I like the look of him. He's a tall guy. He's got pace. He can obviously pass the ball. He can read the game. So yeah, there's something there. I mean, he just needs a few more minutes yet on the pitch before he can step into a big game, I think.
Yeah, because that's what we've really struggled with as well. We've been so slow, especially at the start of games this season. We've been so slow at the back, and we've passed it from centre back to centre back. We've even got it to Rice and Suchek in midfield. There's no options, so they go back again. And at times, I think it's been quite painful to watch, and maybe just that bit of, a gird there, just with a bit of pace and a bit of, come on, let's get this moving, Phil, could help us massively, because we just look pedestrian like too much at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think a bit lethargic as well. I think especially where, like Mike said about Zuma as well, good defender, but I think where he still carries that injury as well, it sort of affects him a little bit. I think he always looks like he's hobbling around. So Agred coming in, fresh pair of legs as well. So obviously they know, they do train with him, so they can see what his qualities are like. But it's different when you're going out playing on the pitch for 90 minutes. A whole different ball game. So I think I like what I saw from him, and it's fresh air, a breath of fresh air. Really, it is a new signing. I know he was like the first big signing of the summer as well. So it was good. I thought there was going to be a bit more of a sort of a hyped up reception for him when they announced his name in it, but they weren't. But no, he did a good job, got man of the match, and it's got 70, 75 minutes in. I think it's just now he'll just play. If he does play in the Premier League games, it will just be he'll probably come on the bench, or he won't. I don't know if he'll play a full 90. So we'll probably see him go to Bucharest. You'll probably see him at Blackburn, get a bit more match fitness ready for the World Cup.
Yeah, and maybe after the World Cup, if he builds up a bit more fitness, I don't know whether he's going to the World Cup. I don't know whether Morocco qualified or not. But if he is a resident, he can just hopefully build up a bit of confidence, and he might just be partnering whoever it is, whether it's Zuma or Dawson, at the back after the break, Mike.
Yeah, I think that Morocco are there, and he will go. So I think the ideal games, Phil just said, Bucharest and Blackburn game, they're the sort of games we can give him a run in, and I think they'll be ideal, especially Bucharest, because there'll be absolutely nothing on that. Blackburn, that that might be quite good for him because it'll be a more of a competitive game, and we'll see how he gets on in one of them. So ideal those games coming up for him.
I think it's just easing him in because with
Definitely.
Ogbonna, I think Moyes got a bit excited. He chucked him straight in, and then he's kind of been in and out, and he's not been at full fitness. So hopefully, he is eased in well. Let's take some comments. Pete, I hope you are well. Corey, hope you're well, mate. Pete says, as for our slow start and pace, it seems to me everyone is scared to tackle as refs and VAR. Plus, we always seem to get injuries. We just looked lethargic at the start of games, and it's a really regular occurrence now. And I'm not sure what I'd put it down to, but we need to start changing it because we scored 2 goals in the first half. In all of the first half so far this season, we need to be scoring in first half of games. We can't just wait until half time when we're maybe 2-0 down in some games to wake up and start playing. We need to be playing from the start. Pete says, I so hope we beat Man U. It's one of those games where and especially they're going to a bit of form, it's going to be a difficult game, but it's just that little bit nicer when you beat a side like Man U because get them, we all hate them and we beat them. It's just but just for the kind of the Moyes and the big six off the back of that, Phil, I'll come to you. Do you think his setup was a little bit negative, and he is still being a little bit negative? At home again, we should be winning. Again, he's set up with a back five. It was quite defensive. He did have a bit of Antonio Scamaca on a pitch at the same time, I believe, but it was still negative. Does that worry you again that we might see 8 men behind the ball on Sunday?
I don't know about worried really because you sort of get used to it after a while, which is the sad thing. But it doesn't hurt to mix up a bit, be a bit more liberal about it, and just go for it. But look, at the end of the day, he makes the decisions. If he feels like that's the best thing to do, then who am I to complain? But sometimes that's not always the right thing. So I think when it's games like this against like we go back the top 6, especially United, you want to be going at them because they're expecting you to be trying to be having 8 men behind the ball. You know what I mean? So they're not really fully prepared for if we wanted to go at them, they wouldn't have let us hit them. But look, I think if you're playing a back 5, it can work well if you do it in an attacking way. So if you're getting your wing backs, just bombing forward constantly.
But the thing we know, we haven't got 2 wing backs down there who are going to bomb down there. You perhaps say Kera and Emerson, but they're told to defend because there's no back 3 in David Moyes' back 5 system. It's a back 5, and it's a back 5 who are predominantly going to defend, which is the sad thing about it, really.
That's absolutely
change
right.
the subject a little bit. I'm watching Birmingham City, and Longello's just scored a peach of a goal.
That's it.
Beating 2 players on the edge of the box and banged it in the corner. There's your left wing back.
Right. Recall him.
No, I think basically keep him there because it'd be good experience for him. Have a chance.
Did he go permanently or on loan?
He's on loan.
Oh, he's on loan, is he? Oh, so he's still on.
Right.
Oh, I see.
I'm pretty sure he's on loan.
Yeah, I think it is a loan. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Hopefully we didn't just let him go, but we did go through a period of just getting rid of all of our youngsters, didn't we? I'll just have a little look. On loan. Good.
Yeah.
6 games and 1 goal. It says on Wikipedia. So that might be 2 now. So that's good. That's good for him. And just that bit of pace on left hand side is what we need, maybe. But Mike, do you think it's almost a bit psychological with Moyes as well? Because we went through a period last season where we didn't show him too much respect. We beat Liverpool. We beat Man City in the Carabao Cup. We flipping went for it and we played well. But then we slipped back into it towards the back end of last season, into this season. Man City at home is the obvious one. We've just slipped back into the kind of the West Ham way, almost, haven't we?
I think, though, to be fair, I mean, we did it last season, and let's face it, at the end of the season, we were, as a squad, it wasn't a squad. We couldn't play a squad. It was the same team every week. You know, there shouldn't be any excuses now. I think I said to someone yesterday, we might not have the best team I've ever seen over the 50 odd years I've been following this team, but we've by certainly got the best squad of players we've ever had. There is no doubt about that. So there's no excuses now because we've got enough players and we've got firepower on the bench and people to bring on. You need that. You do need that to be able to compete at the top end of the Premier League.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've got to be a little bit braver. We've got to be a bit braver and have a go at some of these teams. You know, I was really upset about the Liverpool game because we didn't really lay a punch on them at all the first half. And yet we come out the second half and we probably have the most possession I've ever seen us have against a Liverpool team in many a year. And so it's possible, but you've got to be brave. But you've also got to be good on the ball. And I think we've got enough players now that are good enough on the ball, but there's two or three that it breaks down with all the time. And I don't want to call people out, but you probably know who I mean. You know, I like Fornells, but last night he just wasn't good enough on the ball.
No, and I think just with that Liverpool game, Phil, it was frustrating because it was in our hands if we would have had a better go at them in the first half. Because I thought we were excellent in the second half, apart from the final third. So it's just sorting out these little things, and hopefully Moyes can break this stupid hour at 67. 50, 60, however many games it is away from home that he hasn't beaten a big six side.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of tale of two halves, wasn't it? But you know, it could have been a whole lot different if that penalty went in. But look, we went out there in the second half. It was a lot better. Obviously, very, very unlucky at the end with the Souček chance, which got blocked by Milner. But look, it's one of those where you'll end up ruining your chances that you didn't take. So there's no harm in just going for it. You know, just sort of. Sometimes you've just got to go out your end and just sort of be a little bit more. Sometimes be a bit more selfish, really. Because I think, from what I remember in that Liverpool game, it was Skamaka wasn't really at it.
No, he didn't get much there, and when he did, he was a little bit sloppy with it, and
a bit wasteful.
And I think as well, when we do get, when we start to play, hopefully at some point a little bit more attacking, then we might see him open up a bit more, and he's going to get more chances, and he is a striker that's going to take a chance out of 3 or 4, because if they're good chances, he is a good clinical striker. I'm going to take some comments very, very quickly, see who else we've got. Trudge, I hope you are well. Pete says, agree, Jake, we need to be at them for the whole 90 plus the extra time. From I hope you are well. Trudge says, hoping Paqueta learns English easily as a 5th language should be essential. Moyes kind of had a dig at Ben Rama in the week, which I don't think many people agreed with and thought was very nice. By sort of digging at his English and saying how good everybody else's was. So we don't like to see that, but yeah, if we can get that bit of communication as well, which I think we didn't see. I think it was a Europe game where it was Emerson and Scamacca. They sort of like one went one way and like he passed it the other way. And it's just bonding and getting this sort of communication up, and then we'll be clicking, I think. Pieces last season, we all knew we would struggle as a lack of team players. Yeah. Joe says, what's going on with Downs as a pressing centre attacking midfielder? Doing Scamacca's closing downs. It's been a little bit strange. I think it's been Moyes' sort of way of almost Paqueta ain't been there. I'm going to fill Paqueta's role there with Downs, which is also fits into his sort of like negative style of play. But he was bombing up that right hand side against Liverpool when he was. I actually didn't mind him there. A lot of people didn't like him there, but I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world.
No, definitely not. I think with Downs he's got hunger and desire, and I've said it before, where he definitely wants something to prove, him being the West Ham fan as well. So he wants to make the biggest and bestest impression out there. So he knows that if he goes in there with a few last-ditch tackles, he knows that the crowd's going to love it.
Yeah.
But, it'll come to a time he'll end up going back into like his natural position, and you'll just see him do like a solid job. But, this is still sort of like a honeymoon period for him, really, bedding in, getting into the first 11. It's almost like a probation period. You want to do the best you possibly can so you can become a first team starter every week.
Yeah. Fremmer says this here, and it's an interesting point. And Michael, come to you. I think we have to start comparing ourselves to that 1.5 seasons. We don't play like that anymore. Have to reinvent ourselves now. Do you agree with that, Mike?
Yeah. To be totally honest, with the players we've signed, and I've said earlier in the season, we have to change our style a little bit. Yeah. And it's a shame because I think Paqueta and Scamacca were beginning to link up, and then he got injured at, Southampton game, was it?
Southampton.
Yeah, which was a real shame because those two were beginning to link up. And I would love to see Downs, Rice, Paqueta as a midfield three. And I think a lot of other West Ham fans would like to see that as well. I think that would work, honestly, Paqueta, he needs those two.
It's a dream, Mike.
Yeah.
Protecting him. But Rice can also get forward, and so can Downs as well. So, I mean, they're all good on the ball, and they're brave on
they're all positive-minded players.
Yeah. And do you know what I mean? With Fornell's, he wants to do little flicks and whatever, and then we lose the ball and it breaks down and we're in trouble again. They're good on the ball. Okay, sometimes Paqueta's going to lose it, and we've seen that. But if he loses it, in their box, I haven't got a problem with that. It's when we mess it up on, just on the edge of the centre circle and they break on us, But I've got more confidence that wouldn't happen as much with those three. In a little triangle like that. I mean, I just love to see it. I honestly, going back to last night, Coventry did a really good job in there, holding. I mean, he hit a few little balls on the half turn, a few passes, first time passes, and they went straight to the player. He didn't miss hit a pass very often at all. So there's another player
Moyes for playing
that can do a job like that. So. I last night there was a couple of big positives that come out of that, and I think we do. Was it Pete what he said? But we need to change the style of play.
Fremmer. Yeah.
And we need to adapt, and we do. And with those players, I think we can because they're braver and they're better on the ball.
Yeah. Troy says a weird hybrid tactics and player use. I think is the big part of it as well, because it's just a little bit strange, and we've got the dream feels like what Mike said there, that little triangle playing all the players we want, and it's just so frustrating that Moyes won't play them. Pretty much you could name any half decent attacking stylish manager. He'd come in, he'd put them as a 3, and he'd pretty much give or take a couple of players that he might think will suit different positions, or whatever. He'd do what we'd all want.
Yeah, definitely.
Give us that, and it's frustrating. And we know it will work, but it's just seeing it if we can.
Oh, definitely. I think now that we've become accustomed to Moyes, really, so we're still in that. I know, obviously, he's going to be a bit divided anyway, especially over this season. But I think we're just happy we've had that solid base, and it's kept us up, and then it's made us have 2 great seasons. But yeah, I think it is important to sort of mix it up a little bit, and I think a lot of us have been saying like having Downs, Rice, and Paqueta there as that midfield 3. That is, like Mike said, it's forward thinking, it's positive, but it's just a case of Moyes where he's always going to be like, no, this is how I want to do it. Souček's my man in the middle, and all that. So it doesn't hurt to mix up a little bit and see who can play a lot more positive and a lot more attractive play. Downs can play really well. He can pass the ball about. He gets stuck in there, and he has been doing a lot more than Souček, I think. So, and we know what, like Rice, we don't need to go into how good he is because we know what he's like. Briquet as well, we paid all that money for him, so we know that he's got a bit about him as well. And then we've got the talent ahead of them. Just utilise it. This is almost like England's, sometimes. Got all that great talent, but then it's almost like you're shackled up and you can't really express what you want to do.
Yeah, and it is, Mike, the whole thing where we've got all these players here, we've got the squad, and it still feels like they're all tied to the back of a chair and they're just trying to get themselves off of it. And Ben Rama, he's really trying now, and again, he's sizzling.
To me, at the moment, sorry,
Go on.
Jake. To me, he's undroppable at the moment.
Oh yeah, he must start. Considering he got
is
subbed, he must start on Sunday.
Yeah, he is. Wherever anything good comes from, is coming down that left-hand side there. Last night, especially in the last 3 games, I think he's been one of our best players, if not our best player. He's going to make something happen. He looks like he's going to make something happen. Okay, sometimes, his decision making has not been at the best. Some of his crosses haven't been great, but I think that comes with confidence. And Moyes has got to say to him, right, Benny, you're my man. Tap him on the shoulder and say, go out there and win us a game because you're good enough to do that.
Yeah.
I remember managers used to say that to me, and I knew very well it was telling everyone else that as well. But, it made you feel good. And you think, cool, yeah, you're all of a sudden you're 10 foot high and you want the ball and, I'm going to win this game for us.
When you played for West Ham, Mike, in your day.
Oh, I wish I had. But joking aside, mate, he's looking as though he's getting a bit of confidence now, and Moyes has got to show that. He's got to give that to him, and he's just one of those players, I think, who needs to be, tell him how good he is, what he can do,
Yeah.
So I think Moyes has been the other
arm,
way,
doesn't he? He just needs that.
Put that arm around him instead of all the time, knocking him or shaking his head when he makes a bad pass,
having a little punt at him, it's just he's a player that will thrive with the players he's now got around him.
Exactly.
You can imagine, if we put the defence to the side, could you imagine this, Phil? If we see on Sunday, we know it's not going on because Paqueta's not fit, but just hypothetically, if we had a midfield 3, so if we played a 4-3-3, I don't know, or a 4, whatever. A midfield 3 of Paqueta, Downs, and Rice, and a front 3 in whatever order of, I don't know, Bowen, Scamacca, and Ben Rama, a corner in there maybe or whatever. That's gonna bang, But they just need to put those 5 or 6 players on the pitch, play them in the right position. Don't strangle all of the talent out of them, and just let them play football. 180 million quid we spent in the summer, and Bowen and whatever, they've been here before. So that's more than 200 million quid there. Let's just, these players know how to play football. They had a big price tag for a reason. Let's flipping just let them play football.
100%. I mean, if you look at Ben Rama, remember the reason why we signed him in the first place. He played in the front 3 at Brentford in the Championship, and they even had a nickname with him and the other guys. Was it Watkins and Mbeumo? They really tore it apart, albeit it was in the Championship, but he was allowed to do what he wanted to do. He's come to us. He tried to do what he wanted to do, but he was still being restricted, really. But, you've got all that abundance of talent, and you don't really want to just to suck all the talent away and just be conventional, run up, try and pass it about if you have to. Just show a bit of freedom. And then when the confidence is buzzing, you feel like you're the best team in the world. That's what makes Man City and Liverpool and all them teams do it week in, week out, because they've got the players.
There's a reason why Pep Guardiola probably does near to no talking on a match day, because A, he's probably done it on the training ground, and B, his game plan is in the signings that he makes, and he puts those players on the pitch, and he knows they're flipping brilliant. He just lets them play football. And that's what we need to do. Before we carry on, drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you're new. Check out our channel sponsors, Esther, Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Become a channel member, as well, all that good stuff. Keep your comments coming in. Let's just take some of them. Nick, hope you're well, mate. Squad depth is starting to pay off. Expecting a decent cup run this year. A lot of fringe players who will be keen to take their part, exactly, because we had to sort of, in the end, we had to just, like, well, I don't think we forfeited the FA Cup, Mike. It was just a really bad performance on the night. But you know, and to be fair, last year, the Carabao Cup, we got beaten by Spurs. We were at one stage in a good position to go and beat them in that game with a good spell. So we didn't really mob off the cups last year, but we can have a good go at, you know, the conference is out of the way till March now. We can have a good go with the players we've got here now if we can get them working together, Mike. Carabao Cup,
Carabao
FA
Cup. I'd say go for it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You know, got to get Blackburn out of the way first. But why not?
It's just getting those sides out of the way.
Got a decent team out and go for it. Why not? I mean, there's going to be teams like, maybe Newcastle who are not in Europe. You know, they'll be dangerous. But if you can stay out of the way of some of those, because you know you're going to play a Liverpool's probably second team. Same with teams like Man City and Chelsea.
And we proved last year.
Yeah,
we beat Man City. We beat
that's right.
Man
We can do it. We can do it, especially on a one-off. There's no reason why we can't.
Yeah.
I mean, Tottenham are still in the, you know, they're still in the Champions League at the moment, hanging on there. But do you know what I mean? They won't really be concentrating on the Carabao Cup, so I think we all really have a good go at it.
You never know, Phil. We might do a we might do a cup double. We might win Carabao Cup, FA Cup. We might win the conference as well. We might as well go crazy with the cups.
Might as well. Let's go for the league as well, Warray. Hey,
Well,
win
no,
every last game. Go for the quadruple.
Let's just win the flipping quadruple. Why not? As Clip says, let's just go and win the quadruple because we're massive.
That's right. But I think with cup competitions, they are one-off. So
yeah,
always seems a bit illogical. Yeah, anyone can win. It seems a bit illogical, really, to just play super defensive. It's not affecting your league performance, is it? Doesn't matter who you're playing. Look at any non-league side.
Mm-mm.
They don't sit back, do they? They go for it, even if they're playing Man United or Chelsea or let's say I don't know, Leyton Orient or someone like that. They're still going to go for it regardless. You know what I mean? So that should be for every single team. It's a one-off competition. Give it a go. Doesn't matter who you're playing. If we're playing the Minnows, we'll go at them. We're still a professional football team, and it's a professional competitive game. So don't just sit around just open for the best.
Yeah.
So it's good. I think.
Do we get
lucky.
into if we win the FA Cup or something? Does that like qualify us for Europe because it was the whole thing? So if we win the FA Cup, we qualify for Europe. That could be a pathway because don't get me wrong, I want us to do well and I'm optimistic, but I'm also realistic. I don't think we're going to get Europe by league qualification this year because we've got Newcastle there as well. So I do think the only way we get in Europe again next year is either by winning the Conference League or winning the FA Cup. It's a huge task, but Phil, Mike, can you see us genuinely getting there?
I think the conference is our best chance. I mean,
it's doable, isn't it?
6 games now to get to the final.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be 2-legged affairs, so you might have to win every single one of those. I mean, I think
if we could stay out of the way of the Villarreal and whoever else are in there.
Yeah. I don't think we need to fear too much. You know, I know people are going to drop down from the Europa League, but I mean, we were good enough to win our group in the Europa League last year, so we should not fear teams that drop out of the Europa League down into that. I think we got a really good chance in that, and I'd love us to win that. I really would, to win another European trophy. Albeit, I know some people call it the Mickey Mouse Cup, but I mean, Roma won it last year, and they celebrated like they won the World Cup. You know, so I mean, I think we got a really good chance in that, and that automatically gets you a European place. You know, we might have to. We've got to see how our league season goes, but we might, if we keep progressing, we might have to sort of look at some league games and say, oh, okay, we're safe, hopefully safe from relegation. We're middle of the table. Let's concentrate on that.
Yeah. I must
Because-
say, touching on that about Roma as well, I think that's probably the best thing that's the best thing to happen to the Conference League with
I definitely
them.
feel. Agree
them
with
winning it.
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, him taking it so seriously, him getting emotional about it.
Yeah, exactly. If it's good enough for Jose Mourinho, it's flipping good enough for us. And
No,
I
I
did,
agree. Yeah.
I did see a list of the clubs that are dropping down from the Europa League. I think it's Sheriff, Feyenoord if they don't win next week. So they're quite a big side over in Holland, I think. There was a list, and there were some quite good European teams in it, but I don't think they're as good as the Sevilla and the Lyons that we beat last year. And I know they were magical nights, and they probably won't ever happen again, but we can do it there.
Absolutely, I can't wait for it.
Yeah, roll on. I'm up for it. I really am. I hope I hope when we get deeper into it, we start putting out stronger teams, and we really are serious about it.
Yeah,
we can afford to do that now because of the squad depth. That's the key thing. That's the one thing which separates us from last season. So we was lucky to have that cup run anyway. That's what kept our season going strong. Otherwise, it would have just been another letdown of a season, really slowly dropping down the positions.
Yeah. Let's fire through some comments before we do. Just a bit of a pre-show joke, and Mike, you'll get this. Think of an away day last year, Mike. I'm going to show you a picture. What comes to mind?
Oh God, mate, yeah.
Man City away, anyone?
I've never seen the pitch cleared so quickly. Though you had to give it to the City grounds people. They cleared that pitch at half time. It was phenomenal because it was white. And
it was. It was covered.
The start of the half. I mean, it was totally green again. But okay, they had to extend the half time a little bit, but
we couldn't believe it. It made Man City better, Mike.
It was unbelievable because on the snow they were taking the mickey out of us. We couldn't stand up. We were like a load of girls trying to ice skate for the first time. I mean, we were terrible. They just passed it around us, and we thought, oh my God, they cleared the snow off. They nearly got a green pitch to play on, and we actually started playing then.
Oh, that was such a good day.
When we had some grass, we started playing. But amazing.
I think you had that sorted out straight away, wouldn't you? On the soil heating and all that.
Honestly, Man City is the biggest club in the world. I thought they were going to bring out big machines to take it all off. They were flipping ground
pushing it off,
shoveling it out. Oh, what a day! What a day. Anyway, we got a bit sidetracked there, but I just found that picture on Twitter as I was looking for the list of people that were dropping down, and I saw that, and I thought, I wonder where that reminds us of. But anyway,
and your dad still had his shorts on.
Still had his shorts on. I didn't do it, but Dad had his shorts on. When will he not? That is the question. Right, comments. George commentary hardly put a foot wrong.
Great George.
I don't think he at all embarrassed himself, and he's solidly put himself as a reliable European player. Maybe start again next week would be good for him. George says. Also, if I remember right, Coventry scored with a few shots from range in the Premier League too. Souček never does. And the difference with Coventry and Downs from Souček. Yes, Souček has been a bit better, and he's broken up a bit of play in the last few weeks quite well, putting some good tackles. But Downs has been doing that in the Premier League, as well as looking better on the ball, finding better passes, not looking like he's about 3 seconds behind everything else like Souček does sometimes, and not just running around treading water, just aimlessly, just jogging around. Downs doesn't do that. He's there, and he's there for a purpose. He's there, he's making these tackles, and he will overtake him. It's just a matter of time, and I just hope Moyes has the balls to do it. But who knows?
But to be fair though, Jake, I think they are different players, full stop.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I think Souček, he's not great on the ball. He doesn't move it quick enough for me. But what he does do is he causes defences problems. He arrives in the box and he can score a goal with his head, and he's also got a decent shot on him as well. And he's a decent finisher. We haven't seen enough of that. We haven't seen enough of that for a long time. But is that because we've been playing negatively and we haven't been putting enough balls into the box?
I think so.
So it
When
could
was
be
it? It was the game last
something.
week, and Souček dived into the box and he met a header, and he
Yeah.
just he didn't quite get under it, over it, sorry, and it just kind of went over the bar. And I thought we haven't seen that for ages. And
No,
Phil,
no.
Phil, do you think that, or can you see why Moyes continually plays him, or do you think this is a injustice on Downs not starting him with a midfield two with Rice?
I don't know. I think it's a case of him just sticking to what he knows best, really. You've got to remember he was one of his first signings, wasn't he? When he came back, so he knew how much of a good job that he does, even though he's not been as effective as he was from the beginning.
Yeah,
He's in his eyes, he still thinks, yeah, he can do a job, and I think, yeah, he definitely sees something different to what us fans are seeing, but it doesn't hurt to drop him for a game or two to
No,
see
no.
what we've got the abundance of talent on the bench anyway to to fight for his place. Downs is trying that as well.
yeah. Just to move on from that topic, Emerson did a Q&A on his Twitter page today, and I found this, and Trog just mentioned it. I completely forgot, to be honest, and I think this, I don't think this helps Moyes out at all, because he did say Emerson has said that Said Benrahma is the hardest player to mark during training sessions at West Ham. So the whole illusion that doesn't really put in too much effort in training, he doesn't impress Moyes in training. Emerson has said Said Benrahma is probably the hardest player to mark during training sessions. Maybe it's just this season, and last season he wasn't great, but again, it seems like the players are saying that he's putting in the work, and hopefully he's got to start on Sunday. I tell you what, I would be beyond annoyed if I was Benrahma and he didn't start on Sunday. I'd be livid, quite frankly, because he deserves that start on Sunday, and if he doesn't get it, I don't know. I can't see what his future is, and I wouldn't blame him for wanting out and maybe going back to Brentford in January, because he's just not getting that opportunity. Paul says, evening, or do we know when Paquette is back? Moyes has completely blanked him out of this game, says he's not available. It's been a bit strange because Paquette was all upbeat on his socials, the video of him on the grass training and whatever. So we don't really know. Moyes has ruled him out completely. So what's the next game after this one? Is it the FCSB?
Palace. No.
Palace, yeah, Palace in the Premier League.
And the League Cup game against Black.
That's it. In the
Blackburn.
yeah, and maybe he might be in the League Cup game, or he might chuck him in one of them Premier League games. But I don't know.
It's a weird injury, though, isn't it? A shoulder injury, and I think they're a little bit worried that, to be honest, that he thinks it's okay, he can play with it, but I think he's probably had a few training sessions and it's probably flared up again. So yeah, they've got to be careful. They've got to be careful with it.
Yeah. Dad says, talking quadruple, Jake, one about a burger. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We're getting is a burger. Quadruple burger. Dad had one tonight. Yeah, you can just imagine it. 2 beef burgers and 2 chicken burgers. He didn't pick it up and eat it. He like kind of not dissected it. What's the word? Kind of just broke it down and like got a knife and fork out. Quite funny, actually. Anyway.
Plenty of sauce.
Yeah, exactly. There was burger sauce was dripping out of it. Some people like that, some people don't. It's up to you. From us, I think Moyes knows that he has to win something this season. Seeing as we can't seem to find our feet in the Premier League conference, for me, yeah, I 100% agree. He'll feel like pressure's there definitely to get to another semi-final, final, if not win it. Nick says, agree for a go all out to a final. Who knows? One-off game. Who knows what will happen? Adam says Feyenoord were in the final with Roma last year, and if they don't win next week in the last game of Europe, they come back down into the Conference League. So they are a good side. Got to the final last year. It's a trophy. We haven't won anything in donkey's years. Mm-hmm. Would you take just staying up and not doing very well just for that trophy, Phil?
Yeah, why not? As long as we don't go down, that's the main thing. But
it's being in the Europa League and the Championship. Only West Ham do that.
Yeah. Well, Wigan done it. Yeah.
Did they win the FA Cup and then go down?
Yeah, they won the FA Cup, and then 3 days later they got relegated.
Did Birmingham do the same in the league, win the League Cup and get relegated?
They did, yeah, because they Yeah, because I think we played them in a semi-final, if I remember, Birmingham.
Yeah.
They beat Arsenal in extra time, and then they actually went down with us.
Yeah.
And then who else is there? I remember Millwall. They was in when it was UEFA Cup as
Yeah.
well. When they got to the cup final against United. So these things does happen. But
Yeah.
I remember when was it about 9-10 years ago when it was Swansea City versus Bradford City in the League Cup final. I think Bradford was in League Two. Swansea won it, but I think if Bradford would have won it, obviously they would have got into Europe. But with them being even lower, they got more competition to play in. So what I heard is they would have just knocked the Europa League out on the head because of them playing in the what's it called, the EFL Cup.
Yeah.
Well, let's just hope that does not happen. I mean, have you heard that they're going to try and do the Betway Cup for the players that don't go into on
I
international?
heard that, yeah.
West Ham, yes, bit of West Ham.
Woo! That's right.
Let's get
extra
over
games
to
for
London
us.
Stadium, watch the football. Let's go and watch the Betway Cup without Rice, without Paqueta, without Scamacca will be there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, who
Honestly.
cares about England USA? We don't want to watch
No,
that.
we don't want to watch that. We want to watch England versus West Ham versus some League One side that are still here or something. Charlton Athletic. Or bring Leighton Orient over.
Yeah, do a little local
They're top of the
derby.
league at the moment,
They are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Good on them. Fresh fielder, bonsoir. Oui, comment vas-tu? That's that. See, I do French at school.
Obviously.
Maybe.
Obviously, yeah.
Très bien.
Yeah, oui. All of that jazz. Thierry Henry. Is he French?
Whom? Who?
Is he French? He was.
Who? Henri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
No, he was Italian.
Yeah, he
No,
weren't
he's only
Italian.
French.
He definitely weren't Italian.
He
I'm
was
not
the
that silly.
Frenchest French one in
He
the
is.
league.
Yeah.
There we go. Right then, I think we will. I think we'll leave it there. Some final thoughts ahead of the game on Sunday, Phil.
Yeah, let's break that top six curse. It's United. We always want to do a number on them, and I'm sure Moyes does as well with how they treated him when he was there. So don't be afraid. Go out there, give a great performance. Let Anthony do as many flicks and tricks as he wants because we'll take him out.
Dawson's going to batter him.
That's right. Dalton's going to put one on him. If Ronaldo goes back in the team, make sure he goes off in a huff.
Yeah, send him down the tunnel again.
That's right. Yeah, just get the 3 points. Forget the 1 point. Just go for all three. Let's get higher.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. A historic day at Old Trafford is on the cards. I can feel it. I just hope we don't go, as Peter says, for a 6-4-0 formation. I hope we give it a go. We don't give them too much time, and we don't give them too much respect. Let's go out there, let's rough them up, and let's go and beat them. The Betway Cup will be used for some of the under-21s as well, so that will be good experience at the London Stadium. So honestly, any West Ham will be there. We will be there. Don't worry.
I'll probably go.
Yeah. Hopefully. Mike, just before we come to you, probably the most West Ham thing ever. Somebody's commented on the post for the show, and as per, we will play for a 0-0, concede with 20 minutes to go, then make subs, play great for 10 minutes, and almost score. Mike?
Where have I seen that before?
Never.
That sound about right.
Yeah, well, I was gutted last year when what was it? Rashford scored in the last minute, and
don't even mention it.
He was offside. His head was offside, and and you can score.
He was halfway to the Etihad, for Christ's sake.
Oh God, man! I can see us giving that ball away down on that right wing. And
honestly, Mike, don't start, please, don't start.
No, I don't want to go through that again. I honestly do not want to go through that again. Like Phil said, just go and have a go. Nothing to lose. Bit of a free hit, really. We're in a decent run of form. I know we're not doing that well away from home, but we've had a lot of good results at home lately. So why not go up there and have a crack at them? I don't. United have turned it around a little bit. Ten Hag is. Yeah. I think he's beginning to get his way of playing into them. I think. Yeah. I think Moyes, he's probably going to do a Tottenham and play a back eight. Yeah, I won't be shocked at that. But hey, you know, I just want us to go out there and try and play a bit of football and be a bit brave and hopefully get a couple of goals.
Yeah, we'll be talking about all of that and more on the preview. It's booked in tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Join us here on West Ham Unofficial for the preview for for Manchester United versus West Ham. Honestly, those 10 minutes from that goal going in to going outside to seeing all them Man United fans to just having to stand there. They brought all the horses in. They all started chucking stuff and fighting. Oh, that was probably one of the worst 10 minutes of of the season, because that was just horrible. And please, I'd prefer us to concede early and give it a good go than flipping concede in the last minute again. To be fair, it's a very good point. Our VAR luck has been used, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, probably has. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you're new. Phil, Mike, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
From us, come on your minds. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the preview. You don't want to miss it. And we'll see you soon. Cheers, guys, and bye-bye.
Yeah, guys.